topic we're covering is digestion. I know you've covered a lot about digestion in previous coursework, both nutrition coursework as well as anatomy and physiology type of coursework. So I gave you some content that I am expecting as in other topics that you've covered in your background and prerequisite courses, and the textbook has some nice review of that type of material. There's a few topics that I really want to dive into a little bit more detail related to digestion this week in the unit. So it's essential that you still remember those basic and critical concepts about digestion, such as the anatomy of the digestive tract, what that means in terms of how digestion happens, the various enzymes and gastric juices that are used for digestion. So all of those things are still important. But some of the interesting areas of research, I think, that kind of are the interplay between this, between the digestive tract and the process of digestion and some other elements, I want to focus on those a little bit today. So some of the topics that we'll cover a little bit more are related to intestinal permeability or leaky gut, and sort of how that relates to dysfunction in the GI tract, and perhaps starting to think about some of the things that may contribute to increased intestinal permeability or leaky gut. Another area that there's a lot of research and a lot of interest in is the microbiota or the microbiome. So just a little bit with terminology there. Microbiota refers to all of the bacteria that are in your body, and a huge amount of those are in the gut. So typically we're looking at gut microbiota. When the term microbiome is used, it really encompasses those bacteria, but also with the focus on the genome of those bacteria. So it's really starting to be understood that the genetic material that each of those bacteria in our guts have interplays with our own genes, and to have different interactions, and those interactions are really still being studied. So just that's where the little bit of difference in terminology, with microbiota being the bacteria themselves, and really microbiome with that emphasis on not only the bacteria, but the bacteria, the genes of those bacteria in our guts. On the left, I want to really also do some discussion and looking at probiotics and prebiotics and thinking about what type of clinical application those might have in various conditions. Again, this is an area that's had a lot of active research and a lot of interest in these, so I'd like you to start thinking about not only what those are, but what sort of research exists in terms of how they may be used in various diseases, what sort of evidence is behind that, and that really all of that leads us to this idea of interpreting research related to digestive issues. And again, a lot of the current issues, the current research related to digestion focuses around things related to the microbiome, intestinal permeability, the use of prebiotics and probiotics, but sometimes that research can be a little bit challenging to interpret. So these are the kind of areas we'll focus on. I'll provide a variety of things in the learning unit, some videos, some readings and articles that hopefully will help illustrate some of this.